All right. Good morning, everyone. At this time, I'll turn it over to our greeter this morning, Lindsay Lewis. Good morning, Lindsay.
Morning. Thank you so much, Tricia. Just want to say welcome to everyone here today, and thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be here with us to learn so much about our Veterans Facility. I am on the Cherish the Children committee and also on the board of directors here for Volunteers of America. And one thing that I love about Volunteers of America is that we do so much for the people right here in our own community, right here in our own neighborhood. And it'll be like Michael, who you're going to get to hear from today, who we get to help and who we get to partner with on this wonderful Volunteers of America journey. Once again, thank you so much for taking the time today, and I'm going to turn it over to Chuck.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. Just want to make sure, can you all hear me? Tricia, you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good. Again, welcome everybody. And gosh, I know I speak for everybody. I wish we were sitting at the Veterans Facility, looking at each other face to face, but such is life these days. And in spite of that, I think you'll enjoy what you're going to hear today and see today, and especially to hear from my coworkers who do the real work, and from Michael, who is going to share his story. So we're going to get to that. But what I'd like to do is just to share a bit of information to put into perspective what you'll hear about today, which is our services for veterans, those we serve who have served us. And so just a couple of things. One is Volunteers of America has been around a while, founded in 1896 and found its way to Shreveport in the mid-30s. And 125 years later, our Ministry of Services includes some 40 programs and services touching on an annual basis the lives of over 6,000 people. And the areas where we concentrate are our services for children and families in poverty, for people with disabilities, senior adults, and what you'll hear about today for veterans. We are a good-sized business, and our annual budget is around $17 million a year. That's what it costs us to do all of what we do for children and families, for people with disabilities, for senior adults, and for veterans. And there's a difference between what it costs us to do all of what we do and what we receive in government. And that difference is what we refer to as the gap. And in recent years, we've referred to it as the gap of uncertainty, because the pandemic has certainly affected us. It's affected our revenue, and it's caused us to have unforeseen or unpredictable expenses. But in the year that started July 1 and will end in June the 30th of this year, our annual budget approved by the board projected a gap of $2.5 million. And as of today, we have received $2,286,612 towards that $2.5 million gap of uncertainty. We're going to continue at it, hope that we can reduce that gap, eliminate that gap, and also through the generosity of investors and donors and those who believe in what we do, to continue to provide the services that we provide. Our promise to you as supporters and to everyone who invests in our program is that they will receive a return on those investments. So what we do is we measure outcomes in every single program and service that we provide. For example, today you'll hear about veteran services, and last year 133 veterans at risk of homelessness found new housing thanks to our supportive services for veterans family, which again is one that you'll hear a bit more about later. So now enough of Chuck, And my remarks, I'd like to turn it over to Gary Janes. He's our Vice President for Veterans Services. We invited Gary to go into that position when we got in the business of serving homeless veterans. So he's been here from the get-go. And Gary, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Chuck. Appreciate it. And once again, we're here virtually. Hopefully this will be the last time we do the tour virtually for veterans. So thank you for joining us today. Okay, so just kind of talk about like what do we do to serve veterans in need? It's pretty simple. We provide an array of services to veterans that are in need. Now, how do we do it? We do it with a really amazing partnership with the local Overton Brooks VA Medical Center, as well as our national partners at the VA. And why do we do it? It's something that Chuck had referred to at the very beginning. We want to serve those who served us. And so kind of just a timeline of what we've done. We started this particular contract. They approached Volunteers of America back in 2009 to kind of open this Veterans Transitional Program that you're going to see today. And in 2010 is when we actually opened the doors. It was a kind of soft opening, and we kind of gradually increased services. But the grant per diem program, or the Veterans Transitional Living Facility, is a very structured, intensive program for veterans that are experiencing homelessness, maybe have other needs associated with that, perhaps a mental health issue, PTSD, perhaps a substance abuse issue, and our really amazing clinical staff, all master's level at this point, really engage those veterans to really touch all aspects of their life to become successful once they leave. In 2011, we partnered with our affiliate in New Orleans to provide support services for veteran families. And in a nutshell, what that is financial resources for those people that are literally homeless to help them get into housing. We do housing search. We can help them pay first month's rent, security deposit, and even a little bit longer term help. During the pandemic, that's been expanded to really help people bridge the gap when so much uncertainty was going on. In 2013, we opened our Safe Haven program, which is completely opposite of our Veterans Transitional Living program in that it is a low impact, low barrier shelter. And well, what does that mean? That means it's considered an emergency shelter, but we really want to encourage those veterans that are on the streets and maybe engaging with an active mental health issue or active substance use problem to find safe haven. And we provide housing, meals, and hopes that we can engage them to either go into a more structured program or go directly into housing. And the program's been really successful. And I should note that our Safe Haven is really only one of two that are left remaining nationwide that's funded by the VA. And in 2015, as part of a gap in service that we noted in providing all these services, is there sometimes our veterans experience legal issues, and that can affect all areas of their life, whether it's employment, whether it's housing. And so we partnered with the Caddo District Court and Louisiana Department of Corrections to launch our Veterans Treatment Court program. And so what that does, it's a 14-month program, or 15-month actually now, where they go before they plead guilty to whatever charge that they have. And if they successfully complete the program, the charges can be expunged. We have a great partner in Judge Craig Marcotte, who acts as our judge, and he's exceptionally fair, but really tough. And we've seen a lot of success with our Veterans Court program. And so to kind of talk more specifically about the grant per diem program, or I'm sorry, I keep referring that, I'm going to my VA acronyms, but it's our Veterans Transitional Living Program. And I'll turn that over to our very able program director and veteran, Phyllis Brown.
Good morning, everyone. That door that you see behind me there, that's the door that we're going to go through when we start our virtual tour. But first, I'd just like to say we have two tracks here that we do, and one is a clinical track and one is a service intensive track. And there's a slight difference in those two tracks, but we make sure that the veterans' needs are being met through counseling and the things that are necessary to meet his needs or his concerns. meals and counseling to the veteran is so important right now, because most of them have been coming off the street, and they have not had the nutrition and the care that we take for granted. So with that being said, these guys are wondering how they got where they are. In the 2021, because we measure outcomes, 86% of our veterans that have left this program have moved into permanent housing. And that's a pretty big deal, especially for that veteran that's moving into permanent housing. During that ice storm that we were talking about a little earlier, I had a veteran that came to us shortly after that ice storm, and he said that he had to sleep under the bridge during that ice storm. And the thing is that he could not go to sleep at night because he was afraid that he would freeze to death. You know, for somebody to serve our country and then have to live under those conditions, that's just totally unacceptable. VOA and partner with the different people in the community, we're making a difference. You know, that old saying about the guy that's walking along the beach and he's throwing the starfish back in the water one at a time, and they say you can't save them all. And as he throws that one back out in the water, he said, but I made a difference in his life. And that's what we do here, is we do everything we can do to make a difference. But I want you to talk to someone that has experienced this. And Michael is a current veteran with us right now. And he's going to share a bit of his story and how this all came about for him. So Michael, you want to talk to us a little bit?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. My name is Michael Britt, and I entered the program last year in January, actually January 12th of 2021. And immediately when I got here, Ms. Brown, she was the first person I actually met on staff. She came over to the apartment that I was in. She greeted me, and I felt, after speaking with her, I actually felt a sense of peace and knowing that I feel like I was in the right place. I just want to share with you 3 things on how this program has tremendously helped transform my life in just a year. Now, I've gone through a lot of things over the years, but over the last year, going through the program and my mental health team, they've actually assisted me with a lot of things that really transformed me into a place where now I'm approaching the transition of getting my own home. So just give me an opportunity to share with you 3 things that I've found that was important here, how it helped me out. Number 1, the importance of having a community. It's a saying that you can't know how a person feels until you walk in their shoes. And there are a lot of veterans here, even though we may have different challenges, all of us uniquely share at least one thing together. And it's good to know that you have someone, a fellow comrade, who can identify with exactly what you're talking about. It makes you have a sense of not being alone. And being alone is one of the worst things that you can do, because what that does is when you're alone, all different types of thoughts begin to go through your mind. Hopelessness, despair, and having a sense of camaraderie and fellowship with fellow brethren, it makes all the difference in the world. And also you have the support behind it. Ms. Brown, the staff here at the VOA, Ms. Marty, Ms. Brown, and the rest of the staff, Ms. Carol, Natalie, also Ms. Jackson, they've been tremendous help to me personally. Now, also my mental health team, my treatment team, I call them, they have, through Ms. Brown's counseling, Ms. Marty's talking to me, and also Ms. Alden, Chris, he's no longer with us. They have helped me overcome a lot of barriers that I've been dealing with from a mental standpoint. Dr. Menard has really been a tremendous help to me. When I got here, I was frustrated in so many different areas of my life. But come to find out, when we have our weekly group meetings, a lot of things that I was struggling with that I really didn't want to talk about at the time, they were brought up in those group meetings. And then come to find out that like, man, okay, wow, I really have an opportunity here to get my life transformed. I've been able to, since I've been here, I've been able to file for my service connection disability. One of the things that I've been wanting to focus on. I've been able to experience freedom in areas of my life that have weighed down on me for over 17 years. Every day of my life, 24/7, 365 days a year of mental torment. I've been able to be liberated from some of those things. The second thing I want to talk to you about is it helped me process and find new perspective. It means that I grew up in a place where I saw a lot of things, but by me being here at this program, I've been able to find a new perspective. And I just want to share with you real briefly a story about how I come up as a young child. My father was a Vietnam veteran. He went to Vietnam. He served from 68 to 69. He was actually, he received 2 Purple Hearts because he was wounded twice. One time he was shot in the hip. In the second wound, he received he was injured by a grenade, which actually tore a good portion of his back out real bad. Now, obviously, I wasn't born then, but I had no idea on what my dad had to go through during that time. But when I was born, I grew up with my father. And my attitude toward my father, I'm trying to say it, be graceful about it. My attitude toward my father was very resentful. I had a lot of resentment toward my dad because how he treated us, how he treated my mom. But I really didn't understand what my father was going through. I myself, at the age of 19, 20 years old, I entered into the military. Infantry, same MOS as my father. And after my experience of getting out the military, immediately after I got out, I began to deal with things I had no idea how to deal with. I was automatically angry all the time. I had no reason to, I didn't even understand why I was angry. I was so violent. I had no idea why I was violent. I had 2 young daughters that I was taking care of. I was a single parent, taking care of my 2 young children, and not being able to take care of my children because I went into a depression that was so deep that I didn't have the strength to get out of the bed and get them ready to go to school in the morning. I would literally have them go to school, not being bathed, not getting any kind of personal hygiene, not feeding them, and sending them to school that way and knowing that's not my personality. I didn't have any idea what was going on with me at the time. So in 2004, I exited the Army. I came back to Louisiana. In 2005, I came to the VA hospital to receive some treatment. At that point in time, I didn't receive any treatment because the only thing they gave me was medication. After that, I just gave up. And from 2005 up to 2021, I had to deal with torment for 17 years, mental torment, anger issues, anxiety attacks, all those different things that I was dealing with, in addition to taking care of my parents, my mother and my father, when they became ill. I had to take care of them. So all those different things began to change my attitude toward my father when I had to go through the same thing that he had to deal with. I didn't really realize how much my father was affected by the Vietnam War and how his mental state affected him, because I know what it's like to have your mind telling you to do something, but your body does not connect and you perform it. That's a feeling of hopelessness and despair that I wouldn't want anybody to experience. But since I've been here, I've been able to process all the things that have happened to me and come to this place now to where I've come to find a newfound respect and honor for my dad. because my dad has gone through things for over 45 years of dealing with the torment that I had to experience for 17. Now I understand his struggle. So the third thing I want to talk to you about is how it has helped me find purpose in my life. My goal is, after I leave this program, is to devote my life to assisting other veterans and their families, the wives, the spouses, and the children of those families, having to learn how to help deal with veterans who are struggling with these issues. Myself, I am a family man. I love my family. And one of the things that I believe that is necessary for us veterans is to have that spousal support to help us understand and help us get through those certain issues that we deal with. And finally, it also gives me an opportunity to organize a foundation in my father's honor. I believe that's the only way I can. Obviously, I can't tell him that I love him because he's passed on now, but in his memory, I intend to carry his name on through a foundation that I would like to be able to start when I leave here. And that's all that I have. I thank everyone for giving me an opportunity to speak and share with you my experience here at the VOA that's tremendously changed my life. It's given me a new lease on life to help me move forward and allow my latter days to be greater than my former. And I really appreciate everything that everyone has done here. And I ask you that you continue, if you're able, to continue this program because it has helped me so tremendously. I know it can help others. Thank you, Ms. Brown.
Thank you, Michael. We appreciate that. You put your heart and your soul into that, so thank you. So what we're gonna do now is I want you to come on and go with me as we go through this door, and let's take a look at the facility. This is our common area down here where they can come down. A lot of the guys will come down here and they'll sit and read books or whatever they want to do, just some quiet time. A lot of times getting out of the room or just stretching their legs. You know, sometimes it's kind of difficult just having to sit on your bed all the time. So they'll come out and they'll sit in this common area and read a little bit. So we've had to kind of cut back a little bit because of COVID and the social distancing. So that's been an issue. This is our smoking area, as the guys call it, the smoke hole. And they come out here and they smoke, they drink their coffee and they smoke and they tell some tall tales. I've heard some of them and they're pretty interesting. So, but they get out here and they laugh and they talk and it's pretty cool to watch. So this is Miss Carol. Miss Carol has been with VOA for approximately 3 years. She's also a veteran. She runs our front office in the morning time from 8 to 4. Not much gets past her. The guys attempt to pull the wool over her eyes sometimes, and she's not having it. She's not having it. And because she speaks the language, they know that they can't pull the wool over her eyes either. So she's a jewel. This is our day room. We've got some video games in here. We have a big screen TV. We also have the books on the wall that I was telling you about. Some of the guys will come in and read those books. And we also have a soda machine that they can actually buy soda and bottled water and juice as well. It's not just sodas, but there's some juice in there as well. This is one of our rooms. He is very tidy and we insist on tidiness, which is sometimes can be a challenge, but that's okay. We're working on it. This is a 2-man room actually, and we're just showing you one side. He is very tidy. Our laundry room. We have a ramp that they put onto this laundry room for the people that are physically challenged and not be able to walk up the steps to get to the laundry room. We have 3 washers and 3 dryers in there, and it's open at a certain time for the guys to go and take care of their laundry needs. the garden has been it has been a real it's been a real pleasure to watch the guys get out there and work in that garden. You know, some of them haven't done garden work since they were kids, and they were doing it with their mom or the grandparents or something like that. And it brings back, I mean, it brings back memories for these guys, and they really enjoy pulling. Half the stuff they don't eat, you know, they bring it in and they put it out for anybody that wants it. But it's just the idea of them being able to grow it. And we have a partnership with a couple of agencies that come out and turn the soil over for them and do some things for them to get them started each time. As a matter of fact, I had a call from a gentleman the other day who was asking when we were ready to let him know, and he would be out to do it. So to turn the soil over. So they really enjoy that gardening. And this is our dining area. The mess hall is one of those areas where the guys come in and they can sit and they can drink coffee, they can watch TV. We used to keep this TV on the news. There has been a couple of times that we had to turn the TV off because it was kind of intimidating or causing some anxiety for some of them. But for the most part, they can sit in here, they can eat their breakfast, lunch, or dinner, drink coffee, and all of that. We've kind of shut it down just a little bit because of COVID, and hopefully we'll be able to open it back up a little bit more for them to be able to come out and sit and drink coffee and do that. We had a major overhaul of our kitchen. It has been, I mean, it is awesome too. And I know she's gonna show you the picture, but this is the before picture, what it looked like. And if she can switch it over to the new one, as you can tell, it says the project included updating the vent hood air system with state-of-the-art equipment, new paint, floors, doors, lights, fire-resistant wall boards. I mean, they went all in when they did this remake. So we're kind of proud of it. And I'm going to turn that back over to Gary. Thank you all for allowing me to lead that tour.
Well, thank you. And generally, we reserve kind of the end of the tour for questions and answers. Usually when we do it in person, because we have the opportunity to really engage a lot more, there are more questions. But if anybody has anything, we'd be glad to entertain them.
Gary, y'all said, guys, this, that, and the other. Is it just men who live here, or men and women?
In this particular program, there are just males. Originally, when we opened the project, we had one large room up front where we had females, but then the VA decided that was not best to commingle, to make it co-ed, and it was not the ladies' fault, if you can imagine. But the one program that we do provide female beds is in our Safe Haven program. We do have 2 offsite from the main facility to do that, and you know, we acknowledge that that's a gap for female veterans, but generally female veterans tend to not really engage in congregate settings because many of them have children. So we serve a lot more females through our supported services for veteran families program.
Cool, thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, seeing none, I'll turn that back over to you, Tricia.
Okay, thanks, Gary. And thank you, everyone. Michael, thank you for sharing your story, and Phyllis for leading us on the tour this morning. At this time, I just want to remind everyone that we offer Hope Begins Here tours every month. And next month, in March, we will have 2 opportunities for you to learn more about our work and our ministry of service. We'll have one on March 2nd at our Bossier Lighthouse, and another one on March 16th at our Corbett Lodge. So you can RSVP for either one of those or both of them by visiting our website. And we just want to say thank you so much for joining our tour today. And this recording will be available on our YouTube channel, and we'll also put it on our social media links. So thank you all so much, and we hope everyone has a great week. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, and thank you again, Michael. We truly appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak.
Thank
I'll
you.
take care.
Thanks.
Thank you
Bye.
all. Bye-bye.